Stirring the broth. It's just warming up, starting to steam. Got 8 chicken breasts, skin boneless, that I will keep in the broth. And there we go as a starter. I like a wooden spoon. I don't like plastic. And a soup ladle. I don't have anything but plastic right now, so unfortunately I have to use that. Can't find my metal one right now. I think it's in the dishwasher. Okay. There's what it looks like. Lots of parsley. Now I'm going to add the other things and I'll show you. Okay, here's my parsley in the sink. I'm washing it, opening it, washing it leaf by leaf, and then I'm going to chop it up. I've got 3 bunches of it. I already put 2 bunches in, so I like a huge amount of parsley. High in vitamins, tastes good, adds flavor. This is Italian parsley, and it's also high in fiber, etc. So yum, yum, yum. Probably one of the main tastes of the soup. Okay, this is how I cut up the parsley. I used to put it in whole, as I kind of liked it that way, having whole hunks of parsley to chew on, and I could see where it was. But my son didn't like that, and for some reason I don't think he likes green things or something. So anyway, I chop it all up, and then after it's cooked, it all kind of disappears into the broth. So maybe it actually adds more flavor this way, I'm not sure. I thought before putting the whole bunch in whole after washing it would be better for him, because then he could just keep the parsley to the side, but I guess no. He still didn't like it, so now he's eating it chopped up and probably doesn't know it. Okay. Okay, here goes the parsley into the soup, all chopped up. Nice for my son. He likes it chopped up, but you can see there's a huge amount of parsley. Anyway, that's how I like it. My father and my grandmother taught me this. Italian parsley is one of the main flavors in the soup. And fresh, good, delicious, and nutritious. Thank you. Okay, this is how I cut up the parsley. The celery. The parsley I just showed you. 3 heads, actually in this pot, 5 heads of parsley. And this is a whole head of celery. So I like to do this like no waste, convenience. So I do everything in what the unit package comes in, and this is 1 head of celery, and that's the unit package. So in it goes, hopefully with 1 hand. I don't know. We're trying. There we go. Very good, very good. Alright, 1 head of celery in the pot. Very good. Now again, here's my unit packaging of onions. And these are yellow cooking onions. So I gotta have a whole bag I'm gonna put in the pot. And this is how I cut them up. I'm running and grounding them in cold water. So when I cut them, there will be no tears. And I'll cut all these onions. There's about 10 of them in there. And then I will show you no tears by doing it this way. Okay. Oh, let me show you something else here too. Here is my pot of steaming soup, and it's not boiling yet. And until it starts boiling, I have it on high heat. And when it starts boiling, I stir it every once in a while. The chicken is on the bottom, cooking. Don't touch it or taste it. until it's boiled for about an hour, just to eliminate any bacteria, and that would include Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria monocytogenes, and viruses that the chickens can have, even COVID-19 and the influenza virus, H1N1, H5N1, and H5N5, etc. Okay, so yeah, you can't taste yet. Wait about an hour, and it's just starting to boil, so I'm going to turn it down to medium in a few seconds here. But as I keep adding vegetables, it tends to lower the temperature of the soup and stop boiling. So I'm taking a little bit extra time to videotape. So let me go do my onions and add those, and I'm going to turn it down to medium. Alright, so I've cut up the whole bag of 10 onions, and there they are in the broth in the, I forgot to tell you, is a 16 quart pot. So I'm making 16 quarts of this. And then let me show you, there's my No Tears Onion Festival. And cutting all those onions, there they are, no tears, thank you. Okay, here I wanted to show you my parsnips and turnips. So again, unit dose, this is a whole bag of parsnips, which I guess they look pretty large, just happens to be 3 this time. Normally it's like 6 or 8, and I chop them up because usually I'm the only one who likes them. And then the turnips, 4 small turnips, they were by the pound, so I just got 4 because, again, I think I'm the only one who actually likes them and eats them. And so I will cut these up. Again, I'm soaking them in cold water for several reasons, to maybe get off some dirt that's left before I scrub them, loosen it up, soften it up, scrub them, and get all the rest of the dirt and skin off. And then also maybe soak out some of the pesticides. Unfortunately, parsnips are related to carrots, and both of those will grow where nothing else will, because it's been heavily saturated with pesticides, and carrots are the last crop to be rotated through because they'll still grow with super saturation of pesticides. So I'm hopefully soaking some of that out of it, dissolving it, soaking it, and then it'll go down the sink instead of into the pot. Okay, I'll show you once I get them in the pot. Okay, I've been scrubbing away at these things, and now I'm doing a second rinse. Get rid of, I noticed there's quite a bit of dirt on the bottom, so get rid of the dirt and the pesticides. Kind of disappointed in the turnips. They are soft, but I guess the turnip season hasn't happened yet, and these are probably leftovers from last year. Also, the parsnips are probably last year's season. They're huge compared with what I normally get, which are normally like the size of small carrots. But anyway, they'll probably still have some flavor in them, but not the right season, I guess, for these two vegetables. It's a good thing I'm the only one who likes the turnip, so just scrubbing them some more and cutting them up. Okay, like a good boy, I've dumped all the remains of the organic matter into the organic matter compost bucket, and so this will provide some nutrition for next year's plants. Okay, I've chopped up the parsnip and the turnip and added that to the soup, and then I'll be stirring it in. It started boiling again, so I had to turn it down to 3, which is on fairly low, and it stopped boiling. But I may turn it up maybe to 4 when I add the final vegetables. Thank you. Okay, I have my potatoes, which I happen to get small red potatoes, fresh, apparently this year. Okay, and then the baby cut carrots, but I'm not going to add these until near the end, about an hour before I eat it, or we eat it. Okay, that way they won't be overcooked. Now the rest of the vegetables all need lots of cooking, and obviously the chicken we want well done. And I cook the chicken long enough so that it starts falling apart, and then I shred it into pieces. I used to leave it whole, but again, my family seems to like it cut up. So anyway, I have to change my methods over the years. Again, this is my dad's recipe, who inherited it from his grandmother, and I remember going to her place on Sundays to have chicken noodle soup. And interesting is she had the chickens growing there, and she would kill the chicken right there and make the soup. So anyway, that was kind of something we don't do anymore here anyway. Okay, I'll get back to you when I'm adding these. Oh, let me show you. Now it's chicken noodle soup, so here's the noodle that I'm going to use. I normally use shells. The store didn't have any shells. My family's always used the shells, but my grandmother used to use angel hair pasta that she'd make herself with a dough, and then she'd use a spoon and force it through a sieve and make angel hair, and then boil it up so it was always fresh. But I don't have the whatever to do that. So anyway, this is Smart Spaghettini. Smart because releases the glucose slowly and won't put me into a diabetic coma. Plus it's white pasta with fiber, so it's supposed to be healthier than regular pasta. So this will be the noodle that goes in. Now I like to make them up well ahead of time so that they cool by the time we're ready to eat the soup, and that way you can get the hot soup and then cool it off with a certain amount of noodles. Okay, there we go. Okay, I just wanted to say, okay, I've done all the prep. Chicken's in, chicken went in first. Water's been boiling now for about an hour. I've been doing the prep, adding the vegetables. The vegetables are all in. But boy, does it smell good already. Woo! But remember, you have raw chicken in there, and we have to wait until it's boiled for about an hour before we can even start tasting a little bit. Now I added a lot of hot paprika and sweet paprika, a lot of crushed black pepper, and some garlic salt. Now I can't eat salt, so I didn't put any salt in this, but you can add salt to your taste. And then pretty soon I'm going to start cooking the noodles so that they're ready and cold in time for dinner. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to start cooking the noodles. Everything's in the broth except the carrots and the potatoes, and I will add those an hour before eating. It's been going here about an hour already, doing the vegetable prep, cooking the chicken, and I'm going to cook the noodles now. And this is how I cook the noodles. And I'm cooking the Smart pasta, so it's supposed to be healthier for you, releases the glucose slower, has lots of fiber, and apparently even some vitamins. Iron, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and folate. So if you have to eat noodles, I guess it's probably a healthier way to go. So anyway, I have I have a large pot of water because I'm going to make a lot of noodles. Oh, by the way, this pot of soup is going to last us for 4 days. So I'm just going to keep it on low heat for 4 days so it doesn't cool off and bacteria don't grow, and it stays good. I found from experience making it hundreds of times that it lasts for 4 days. 5th day, no. I wouldn't keep it after 4 days. Anyway, here is what I do. Half a pot of water. Okay, and again, that's probably maybe a 8 quart. Okay, add extra virgin olive oil, EVU, and that keeps the noodles from sticking together. So when that pot starts boiling, and this says for 6 minutes, but I like to test it myself, make sure that they're al dente and not too soft, not too hard. Okay, and then after they boil, drain the water, let them cool until we're ready to eat. And those will, the noodles will last here for a couple days too. And it's nice to have them cold because that way you can adjust the temperature of the soup and not burn yourself if the soup's too hot. Cool it off with the cold noodles. Okay, and then this will be chicken noodle soup. My famous grandmother, probably great grandmother's Hungarian recipe from all the way from Hungary, and passed down through my family through my father, who used to make it every Sunday too, after my grandmother used to make it every Sunday. Okay, I'll let you know when I add or I'm going to add the potatoes and carrots right now. Okay, I'm rinsing my potatoes now, soaking them for a while. Soak out any pesticides, arsenic, etc. that may be on them, the dirt. Then I will scrub them, cut them, and put them in into the pot. And here's the pot. I've added the carrots. You notice this is a precise operation and operation cooking precision. You see how close it is to the top there? That's judged every time. It gets right to the top but does not overflow. So these potatoes are going to be the right amount to fill in that extra inch of space. And I've got the spaghettini. That is a Smart brand starting to cook here, and it will bend and sink into the water momentarily as soon as it starts to boil. And back to, there's my potatoes sinking on the bottom, and I will scrub them now and add them. Okay, my pasta is boiling nicely. I'm going to turn it down to medium and let it simmer for 6 minutes. And then I will test, see if it's done. There's the precision I was talking about. It's completely full. The potatoes have been added. And the carrots are in there as well. So this will cook for 1 more hour, and then the potatoes and carrots will be done, and it'll be ready to eat. And it'll be all sterilized from the raw chicken. But I wanted to show you something here. In the potato, I had to cut out, see, that's mold. Now you don't want to have mold in your soup. There's several sections of mold here so be careful of these. That's mold. And potatoes grow on the ground. Mold grows in the ground, decays everything back to Mother Earth, but you don't want to eat that. That could very well be toxic. Okay, see you in a while. Okay, the pasta, noodles, spaghettini are simmering for a few more minutes. Then I will test them. And then I put the lid on the soup, and look how perfectly it fits. It was right to the brim. but there is no spillage. Okay, so I have to make sure that it doesn't start boiling. Just keep it simmering. If it starts boiling, I'm going to notice it because it's going to start spilling and spattering on the side and down onto the element. So we don't want that, but that's a good warning sign. Plus it keeps the temperature down, preserves the vitamin content, and maybe keeps it healthier, I don't know. But still sterilizes the chicken and the vegetables. Remember, they are in the ground too. Vegetables need fertilizer, often manure with E. coli, salmonella, other listeria, and they get on the vegetables, which sometimes make people sick. Okay, again, I could not find my wooden ladle or my metal ladle, which I normally use, but wooden spoon is good over plastic, so when I do find it, I'll be using that. And then the noodles will be cooled off in about 2 minutes. I will dump out the water, let them sit for a couple hours, and they will be fine for a couple of days. The soup will be fine on the element at low for 4 days. And again, I've done this hundreds of times over the last 40, 50 years, and my parents and grandparents before them. Okay, thank you. Okay, the noodles are done and starting to cool, but I want to taste this stuff, so I'm going to take a few of the noodles with a clean fork and put them into a clean bowl like this. Alright, then I am going to see how full it is. That's what it looks like. And it's just at that, it's probably 180 degrees because see there's a little bit of bubbling action coming from working in the lab for 55 years. I would say that's about 180 degrees from experimentation that I've done. Okay, we're going to try this soup, see how it tastes. Okay, it's been cooking for 2 hours. And there's what it looks like. Okay, the chicken you can see is breaking up there. So that's nice. That means the chicken is done. I put a little bit in the bowl. And then put some more. Dripping, making a mess. Okay. I'm going to be the first to test this. Put the lid back on. Alright. Now I make it spicy. So it's just right when your lips start tingling. So what you do, if it's too hot, you add more noodles to cool it off. Or if it's too spicy, you add more noodles to decrease the heat of the spice. Okay, so I'll try it and let you know. Okay, there's the soup, 180 degrees, just from observation. And now I tasted it, it tastes perfect. Yum, 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 yum. So the last step, the vegetables weren't quite done, so it needs to cook maybe 15 more minutes. But we need to chop up the chicken that's sitting in the bottom. Because the chicken is ready. There were pieces already floating, but my family likes it all in smaller pieces. So because of that, I'm gonna dig down and find some chicken that should be on the bottom. Look at, see, it's already broken up. Maybe I won't have to. There's one. Okay, so there's a big breast of chicken, and I'm just using, because it's so soft now after it's been boiling for 2 hours, I can just use the spoon to break it up into smaller pieces. And okay, I'm gonna do that with the rest of the pieces, and then we'll give you some final advice. I want to say, make sure your ladle and instruments stay sterile. Do not reuse them, as you can admit bacteria. Try and keep the lid on as much as possible. When you set the lid down, do not put it inside towards the contaminated surface. Put it inside up, just to keep the bacteria off of it. Always use new utensils. Don't stick any used utensils in here or in the noodles. Always keep a lid on the noodles, and refrigerate if you have that available. Otherwise, you need to keep the heat up above whatever temperature they recommend. Let's say 170, maybe 160. But anyway, if you keep it warm, almost bubbling, which would be about 170, 180 degrees. Remember, boiling hard is 212, or probably a little higher, with all the organic materials in here and the salt and spices, etc. But keep it warm, or keep it in the refrigerator. Or in the winter time, what I do is, when it's freezing outside, I can stick the pot outside and let that act as the refrigerator. But as I don't have a big enough refrigerator right now to do this, I need to keep it warm to keep the bacteria out of it. Okay, thank you. Okay, there's my final and first bowl of soup after cooking for 3 hours. Since I started, put the chicken on, did all the prep, took about an hour, and then boiled it for another hour, added the final vegetables, 3 hours. And I'm ready to eat it. I've tasted it, it's delicious. Nice and spicy. Again, tingles the lips. That's how I like it. If you don't like it like that, add some noodles. Or if it's too hot, like this, steaming, add some noodles. Yes, very good. And it's delicious, nutritious. It's going to last me and my family for about 4 days. I'm going to keep it warm the whole time so the bacteria don't grow. But normally we keep it in the fridge, but there's no room in there right now. And I would say this is my famous Hungarian family recipe for now it's got noodles in it, so we can call it chicken noodle soup, but before it was just chicken soup. Or if you make it without the chicken, you can add just vegetables and call it vegetable soup. And it works out pretty well the same, but not as much protein, and maybe a slight different flavor, but still delicious. Still delicious vegetable soup. And this is the old family Hungarian recipe. Health department, please follow their rules for storing and cooking food. I'm only a physician. I'm not a professional cook. So, follow the government's advice. Stay healthy. Make sure you cook it long enough. Don't let the chicken touch the counter or anything else. Don't let it drip onto your food or your table or your countertop to contaminate it. Okay, have a good day, have a good life, enjoy your chicken noodle soup. I'm going to enjoy this big bowl right now. And then 3 times a day for the rest of the week. Okay, thank you very much.